Hey folks, welcome back to another First Impressions video with yours truly, Sam Healey. And today we're going to look at 3 different games. The length of the video shouldn't be that much longer because they are a little bit smaller games. Not really small, but they are games that I've only played once. So this, again, will be fitting within the parameters of my First Impressions idea. So there you have it. Let's go ahead and get to it. The first one for today is Mini WW2, and this is put out by Formosa Force Games, and we got this at Essen, and I've played it just once, and I was really excited to get it to the table because as it was explained to me and shown to me at Essen, I was really excited about it. I liked the idea that you have this huge, epic period of our history, and it's being played through, I guess you could say, in a very small, compact game that looked interesting, has good components on it, but the board's a little wonky, I will say that, but it's just on the cusp of me really enjoying the game. There's some things in it right now. The first game that I played the Axis. I played the Germans and the Japanese. And then I had my son play the British, and another fellow that was at game night, he played the Russians. And that was one of the things that first popped out to me, is that the US is actually not a major player here, because this actually takes place, most of it, before they actually joined the war. So the British are the ones that actually are going to be controlling the American forces when they enter the fray. And then the Chinese are going to be joining in and being controlled by the Russians when they join the fray as well. But I like that. It is a card-driven thing. You can think kind of a Twilight Struggle, where you can play a card for its special event. If it matches your faction or your country's color, then you can play it for a special event and do that, or you can just play it for the operations points. It also has up at the top a way for you to play it for technology. So there's a tech tree in here as well. So there's a lot of really cool things going on. It has a real Twilight Struggle feel to it, multiplayer. But it just doesn't have the real strong historical ties that Twilight Struggle did, although it is going over a historical piece of history. So I liked it, but there were some hang-ups, some twists, so I need to play it some more before we actually give it a review. But we'll see how that goes. Miniature or Mini World War II. Soul of the Empire is another game I've only played once, and it is a game that's put out by Kara Games. Kara Games put out Commissioned, and Commissioned is a game that I really enjoyed. Now this is what I'm calling a new breed of Christian-themed games. The reason I call it Christian-themed games is because Kara Games has that viewpoint of coming from a Christian standpoint. And the designers, I don't know the designer, but that's definitely where this is. You basically, in this, you have 4 factions that are working to control different areas, and they all have different win conditions, which first thing was really cool to me. Secondarily, they also have different abilities that only they can do. So that's really cool as well. And then it's also historically connected because it's talking about all of the history that's behind what's going on in the events of the Bible, mainly the New Testament. And so I was really intrigued by this. My first play of the game was good. I took on the Christian faction. There's also a Jewish faction. Then there's also a Roman faction, and then there is also I was calling them the barbarians, but the Germanic tribes is what they were, the Goths and the Parthians and all of that good stuff, and they're coming together. So basically they all have these different win conditions. You have cards that you're going to be playing that will give you boosts in certain situations. You have dice that you're going to be rolling, and the dice are actually pretty cool because the number of pips is going to, some of the actions that you are going to do during your turn are going to be things that need a certain value of pips, and so you can use the dice that you've rolled and ascribe them to these different things. I really did enjoy the game. I want to play it more. I want to play a different faction. I might want to play a couple of different factions to see how different they feel before I review the game. But hopefully this is going to hit the table again real soon. Now, Star Scrapper's Cavein has already been reviewed by Z way back before I actually got this copy. I got this copy at Essen, and I'm pretty sure that Z reviewed this before Essen because we had gotten another copy in before. And I didn't know that, and this was actually on my most anticipated for Essen. Well, I got it back, I played it once, and I just haven't been able to get it to the table again, which is kind of disconcerting because I wanted to play it, and I just haven't been able to get back to it. After that initial play, I did enjoy the mechanisms involved. It kind of feels like worker placement, but not really, because you're taking your dudes, you're playing them out, and they're giving you special abilities. You can go over and mine stuff. You can upgrade your equipment. You can upgrade your crew. There's a number of different things that you can do, and all of this is to try to generate points. So you're working kind of on an engine, but at the same time, it also has the feeling, it's not worker placement, but it just gives me that idea of I'm sending this guy to go mine those resources. I'm using this guy, and he's going to get trained to be upgraded to this dude, and that type of stuff. It just gives that feel, and I enjoy it. I just need to get it to the table again before I review it. So this is going to be hitting the table here pretty soon too, I hope. Star Scrapper's Cavein. And so that's about that for my second episode of First Impressions with Sam. I hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully it will give you something to think about until the review comes out. So thank you so much for joining. I appreciate your time. We'll see you guys and gals on the flip side. Take care now.